Alright everyone, so tonight we're going to do another review on North Carolina PayDirt, www.goldgetters.net. It does come in a regional flat rate box, and then in the bag package like this. Before I get too going here, I'm going to just warn everybody ahead of time. This is going to be about a 3-part video. A lot of you have been asking to see exactly what I do from beginning to end. If you are one of those people that are sick of hearing my voice, which is fine because I don't like listening to people all the time either, just fast forward ahead. I'll put down in the connotations and in the description on the bottom kind of where the key moments are, so you can go ahead and fast forward ahead to it at that point. Again, I did get this bag once already, but it was damaged and not all of it was there. So in Gold Getters, can't think of what I'm trying to say. So in their defense, they did send this out for me, took care of it. Stacy there at Gold Getters has probably been some of the best customer service I've dealt with so far to date with any company. So again, we'll get right into it. This is their 8-pound nugget bag. It's $110 plus $10 shipping and handling. Again, guys, I don't use a lot of fancy screens. I just use a lot of stuff from my house at home. So we're just going to get right into this. And again, this is their Chunky Nugget Bag, so I would assume that we'll see some nuggets in here. I did really like one of the last ones I got. It's probably one of the larger sized pieces of gold that I've seen. So we're just gonna, again, classify that down. As you can see, we're just putting it into the next bin. So that's the rocks, not terrible. Holy, that's it. This is the rocks. I think. I don't know if you can see this or not. I'm gonna see if I can focus in enough to get it. That is the nugget that's in here. Wow, we'll pan through those. That one just really stuck out. Wow. That's one of the nicest little nuggets I've seen. That's just a huge ball of gold. A lot of the gold I'm used to seeing, I do have to be quite honest, isn't that smooth. It's real chunky, or coarse pieces that, you know, they're flat and they're, but this is wow. All right, so we'll put that in there. Sorry, you probably don't care about the nugget, but right, you guys are used to seeing those all day long. And then for time's sake, going to get rid of the largest rocks into that container till we get a chance to get through. Till we get a chance to get through them here. So container number 1's done. Then we're just going to keep sifting this down as far as I can get it for you. I'll try not to waste too much time talking or getting excited if there's stuff there. And again, you don't have to classify it down this far. I like to go to these different sizes because I use a miller table in the end to clean it up. If you're new to panning, it is good to get the rocks out of there. It just makes the job a little bit easier as you're panning through, so you don't have to go through and pick out every rock because you want to get those out of there. Those are in the way of the material that you're trying to get to. So this next size, we'll just start off in this bin. I don't know if that's going to be too much or no, probably not. So making it a lot easier to pan. Obviously, if you've been around prospecting for a while or panning, there's some great equipment out there. I really like to review the Gold Cube someday and get one of those. Might have to break down and actually buy it though, because there's so much support. Not a huge piece. We'll take that out. There's so much support in the industry for him, and everybody loves the Gold Cube. That's that next little piece I'll take out quick. We are going to take out the pickers as we go along. They don't have to get wet. They don't have to get wet then. Again, just if I can see them in what we're classifying down. I won't make a huge effort for that. I just keep them out before they go in. But the Gold Cube kind of takes a little bit of the fun out of panning. If you're doing this for a hobby or an enjoyment, you know, I could have dumped that whole this whole 8-pound bag through there, and in probably 3 minutes it would have been done. GoldGetters.net, excuse me, is a pretty well-known business. They're very, very active in the gold shows. Again, Stacy is the lady that I talked to there, and she was amazing to work with. My girlfriend bought the original bag as a Christmas present for me, and like I said, it was destroyed in shipping. The bag exploded, and it came everywhere, and not all the seams were taped up, and she apologized profusely for it to her, and again, my girlfriend took care of everything, and they shipped it out as soon as they got back, and so again, I would highly recommend them so far. The first clean out I did with them, and again, that was in that bag, so I don't know, because it was missing so much material. It was 1.5 grams, and so I did only give that first review I did on them about a 50% return on investment. So we'll see if this one is about the same, and then we can give them that true rating. I will give them some more points though. Like I said, I'm a big person, as dumb as this sounds, that I like to buy from people that I like, and that I like to deal with, and that stand behind their product. And so it's one of those things that, even though I didn't get the huge clean out that I wanted to see from them, you know, and they don't guarantee how much gold you're going to find, anything like that, and so they never gave me the impression of what to expect. It's just such a highly recommended pay dirt in the industry that I think I was maybe a little bit more excited. They're not doing anything wrong. They're you know, even with that bag that they sent, they're right where the industry is for prices, for the gold you get. So, you know, and then on the level that they take better care of you, well, that's even better. So, all right. So that's those rocks into the green bin. I'm just going to dump this into this because it is a little easier to scoop into those sifters. Not sure what hobbies you have, or if you're finding me from Facebook or YouTube videos themselves. If you are new to the prospecting industry, I do just want to give out a shout out to a great site that's out there. I'm a member of, but I don't, it's not a paid site or anything like that, and so I feel comfortable talking about this. It's called goldprospectorspace.com. Invented or put into place by Tim Grimes, and it's a fun site where there's prospectors from around the country that are there to share their knowledge. They have a weekly radio show, and it's really been an enjoyment kind of being a member there and having the chance to talk to these true professionals in the industry and people that have done it every day or have been doing it every day for their entire lives. You know, not just because of the popularity of a TV show or something. So, and that's actually what led me on to this company. This is one of the companies that they do have worked with and that they vouch for, and so. Just gonna dump these into another container. Again, my video only goes 20 minutes at a time, so I'll try to get all this larger rock sifting done before that. Mesh sizes, just maybe a little to talk about that. How you're determining a mesh size is how many openings there are per square inch of material. So again, I just classify these down with different strainers and sifters that I have around. A lot of people use window screens and different things to get a bigger or larger surface area. So that you can do things a little bit faster. Again, when I started this hobby, I wasn't in a hurry trying to rush through and get all this down. So tonight, as I said in the beginning, guys, this is going to be some longer videos. I am going to try to talk a little bit more, maybe try to answer some of the questions that you guys have been emailing me in regards to why I do what I do, or maybe talk about in a free form too. Some questions somebody had brought up an idea, and I'm a little skeptical about this because I do want you guys to watch the reviews and to get a chance to see the product that these sellers are sending, but mentioned kind of a spreadsheet with a online document that tracked everybody that I've reviewed and have a video on. What their cost was, what size of bag, basically all the stats that I give you in every video, and then what the return on investment was as well. So I'm considering that. I do need to look into it. It just obviously would take a little bit more time for me to do. I don't have a ton of time. I can tell you that filming reviews, I have really enjoyed it, but it does take up a lot more time than I really thought it would take up to begin with. But that's because you guys have been so supportive and overwhelming with questions and places that you've tried and experiences that you've had that you really just reinforce why I started this. Again, so we can have an open community and an open format, and we can help hold these sellers to a higher quality of product so that nobody's getting taken advantage of. There's enough of that in the world. You know, gold, like the little leprechaun, is a greedy thing, right? Well, we don't need that here. So basically, I'm gonna have enough time to show you how I classified those first set of rocks, and then we'll do another video on the fine sands, because my 20 minutes is going to be up here. So I'm going to try to quickly get this down and then show you on video what we have from the rocks that we did so far. So that's the level that's left, that pile there. And what we got so far then is this level of rocks. Excuse me. That level of rocks. That level of rocks. And this for gold. So again, we'll zoom in on so you can see those largest, medium, small rocks, and then underneath it all the fine sands and pay dirt yet. We're going to sift that down even further, but I'm going to do that in the next video. Alright, so the next one, guys, I know I won't be able to get done in that 20 minutes. Again, large rocks, medium rocks, small rocks. Hopefully you can see that, not my bald head, sorry. And again, I am just going to dump this into my container, just because it's a little easier to scoop out of, obviously. Okay, and why I know I won't be able to get this done in the 20-minute time frame is we're going to go down 3 sizes, and the tools I use to do this are just old-fashioned sifters. And so I'm going to show you each size I do and about the material it classifies out to, so that you can see the size of the pebbles and granules in the case. And then I'm just going to empty them into a container. But all I do with this is, and that was a little too full, but I just tap this on the side, and there's the vents, excuse me, the screens all the way through. Maybe I'll do it this way, sorry. Again, I'm a prospector, wasn't looking to spend a lot of money. They make screens, they make all kinds of things to do this with. Me, this is just fine for sitting in my living room, or in the kitchen, or out in the garage. So that's about the size from this screen, okay, that it takes it down to. So that's a whole nother size of rocks that we're gonna do. And maybe I'll just do another scoop of that so that you can see. I just do the tapping motion because just like in your gold pan, it helps separate out and stratify that material. You can stratify material even when it's dry. The heavier things are going to drop to the bottom, and the lighter things are going to come to the top. And then when you have the screen in place, obviously the things that are larger than that are going to stay behind, and that are smaller than that are going to go through. So again, just those rocks, that little fine size. So I'm going to classify this all down, the whole pan into this. I'll pause it, I'll show you what that is, and then I'll come back and we'll do the next size. I'll let you see that. We'll go on, okay? Alright guys, so there we go. This is the first level of screened rocks down. Not very full. You know, not much of that container. So that, and then that's the dirt that's left. I'm going to pause it, get it reset up. We'll go on to the next one. That next size is in that bin that says Easter. We'll be right back. Okay, so that's the pay dirt that we're left with so far. This is the new screen level we're going to go down to. This is about 50 to 75 mesh. Again, I'll just take it down so you can see what material and the size that you're left with once this is all done in one scoop. Again, people do this all kinds of different ways. This is just what I do. See that next size? That's smaller. That's the mesh. You want to count those screens. So, I'll get that all recorded down and show you what's left. Alright, so again, that's out of this mesh size, 50, and that's the material we got out of that. So that is in the bin that says Valentine's Day. That is the dirt that's left, that pile there. And we are going to take that down one step further. Is to here, and I'm just going to do this real quick, and I'll get the bin up here and reload it, but just show you what it is or what it gets down to. This is the one that takes the longest, because this is really screening out that fine material. Maybe I'll do it in here so you can see it. I just want to show you the size of what it's getting down to. Like I said, this one takes the longest because the particles are so fine that we're getting here. This is 100 mesh here. Some people just throw this material away too. The fact is that 90% of the gold in the world is going to be in this range. So that last level again is going to come down to that size, and then that's the mesh size. So I'll get this all classified down, show you what it is, we'll show you the bins, and then we'll get started on the regular review. Alright, so here's what it's all down to. This is, maybe I'll do this and bring them up. The large rocks. For size comparison, guys, these are what didn't pass through a 1/4 inch screen. Next one is full, and that's what didn't pass through an 1/8 inch screen. This is all 20 mesh. That is all 30 mesh. This is 50 mesh. And that is the biggest concentrate filled. That's all 100 mesh, real fine sands. So that's what we got. And then we got that little bit of gold, that really nice thick round nugget, and then that picker that we found too. So 2 pieces so far, and that's what it's classified down to. Now we'll get in the fun of panning. I'll pan probably the rocks, the 3 sets of rocks here in one video, and then we'll do those 3 smaller classifications in another one. Alright everyone, so now we're going to get into the processing. So again, just come in on these a little bit. That's that nice nugget. You can see the size of the dime, and then that little picker I found so far. These are the rocks that we're going to pan. Small, medium, or excuse me, large, medium, small. Then into the pay dirt. And then for this container for sure, and possibly this one, we're going to use the bazooka concentrator or a Miller table. I haven't really decided which one we're going to do yet. So that's to get us started. I'm going to get the panning area all set up here, and we'll get going. Alright, so on this video we're going to do the rocks. And again, just going to pan down rocks just like we would regular material. Letting that lighter stuff just flush off. I did find that nice nugget, obviously, in this classification of rocks. I was just about to say, you're probably not going to find a whole lot of gold in these, so I'm not being terribly careful. If it's in there, it should be at the very bottom. Just as I say that. So again, at the bottom, but in this first trap. That's the little nugget that came out of there. So that leaves 2 chunky nuggets so far. Not a bad size by any means. Again, that is one of the things that I do like about this Gold Getter's Chunky Nugget Bags is the nuggets are very nice. And I'm not looking too much for gemstones at this point. So that's the first classification of rocks. We'll start to get into the next one. Again, we're just stripping off and stratifying that top layer of rocks, pulling it back before you're letting too much get to the edge of the pan. That's what the riffles are for. Oh wow, there's another nice little picker there. I think you can maybe see that one. Put that in the pan. Again, this is North Carolina PayDirt. It does come dried, packaged well. The first package, even though it is packaged well, did explode in the mail. I mean, anytime you're getting that much weight in a medium flat rate box, who knows what's going to happen. Again, I just like to take this stuff down 3 or 4 scoops at a time, and then we'll clean out what's in the bottom. I'm just trying to stratify that lighter material that you can see. I'm just washing off the top. That's 2 scoopfuls down. Oh. This set of rocks so far has been pretty good. Another 2 nice little pickers. As I mentioned in the beginning of the videos, I'm not rushing through this stuff like I have been for you guys. If you want to fast forward, great, go ahead and do that yourselves. People have been asking me how I process what I do from start to finish, so that's what this review is for those loyal fans and followers that are following, that are enjoying what we're doing, and so I'm going to keep doing that. I do have some real short reviews too that I just did on little sampler packets. You know, those are a little bit more rushed, but I don't know really what you guys are spending on PayDirts, but just to give you an example, this is a $120 bag with shipping. So you want to take your time with it. It does have fines. It does have obviously these nice chunks that we've been finding, but there is also flakes and fines in it as well. I do just want to say too, like I said, great customer service. The reputation throughout the industry is pretty high, pretty highly recommended. There's a lot of people that use this PayDirt out of all of them to test their equipment, to see how their sluices are running or their trommels are running. And that's really the reviews that you'll see out there on the PayDirt is more for those functional uses, not so much maybe the average Joes like ourselves. Alright, so that's the medium classification of rocks. We'll be done with here in a second. Again, I do pan everything twice as well. You see me panning right into a safety pan. Somebody made the comment about how I'm letting my kids affect people's business because my son's been wanting to get involved with some reviews here and there. Again, I pan everything once we're all done. He just wants to be on video and to have a little fun on YouTube. So if that upsets some of you guys, sorry, but I don't mind having my child involved in my hobby. So that's what we got out of it so far. That's the first two classifications of rocks. Now we're going to bring it down one more. These are all just under that quarter or eighth of an inch size that we just did. These are really about 20 mesh, a little higher probably. That's obviously that sifter I use isn't for mesh styles. The smaller ones do fit into the mesh, and the whole how mesh is rated for size and per square inch. But and again, we're just gonna thin this material out. I'll get it down to a small concentrate. I'm not worried about leaving the gold in there, guys, because if you're doing things right, it shouldn't come out of your pan. And that's what I kind of laugh about the comments, even with Darren wanting to pan for the video. You know, these traps, guys, if you're doing things wrong, you know, it's easy to flush out gold, but if you're doing things right, there's no sense in having to worry about that at all. Yeah, I'm just going to rinse out this pan here real quick. And then what I'm going to do, like normal, I'm just going to keep thinning this out. You can see nothing's in this pan. What I'm going to do is once I start to get this stuff down a little further, I'm just going to dump it into the other pan. And we'll just keep working this stuff down for the time frame. And then I'll do one clean out at the end in that big pan. Once we start to get to see those black sands, again, you're going to reset. That's where gold likes to hide, is with those black sands. They're buddies, they like to hang out. And once we get down to about that material, I'm just going to back pan it quick so you can kind of see. Oh, wow. So that's the gold we have in that first scoop. But again, I'm not going to clean it all out. We're just going to dump it in the pan and keep going through that classification of rocks. As we get down to this size, and as we've been classifying it down, obviously you can see there's more sand in this stuff. We're getting into that finer materials where it gets harder for it to get through the scrims and the screens, and then also can get caught down with the larger rocks. It just stays in with the larger rocks. So that's normal. You will see that when you do classify things down as well. See, like here's an example of why you want to be watching your pan. So right here, I don't know if you can see that or not. I think you can, right next to that garnet. That's a piece of gold. We don't want to see gold getting that high. So that's why you're watching your pan, you're bringing it back, you're stratifying. Again, tapping is a great method, but you're getting that material back down to the base of your pan because you don't want to see it go out. And you don't always have to sink all your ridges in. You know, if you're just trying to get rid of this end material, just put those last two riffles in. Again, I'll just scoop these back before I dump them just so that you can see the gold that we're accumulating as we're going down. Okay, so that is, we're going to be done here with the third classification of rocks, and that's where I'll pause this video and then start the next one. Like I said, marathon videos, guys. There are going to be a whole bunch of parts. Hope you're not getting bored listening to me, but I really do want to show you from start to finish what I do, especially when I get into larger sums. You know, this is 8 pounds. It's not a ton of material. But when you're buying a pound or 2 pounds or a quarter-pound sampler, it is. So what I do with all of that, you know, if you're doing it for enjoyment, scoop it out one scoop at a time, pick out the rocks, do all of that. You know, this is just as enjoyable for me is panning every single scoop. So there's some nice gold in here so far. That's another scoop. Alright, so then let's bring this one in. Again, we're just going to thin that out a little bit more. One of the reasons I switched to this pan when I get down and I like to finish pan a little bit more with it is it's got this nice deep ridge. I like to trap the gold there, not worry about whether it's falling out of the pan, especially when you're trying to move this larger material. You're just going in and you're taking out those light sands. It's not going to get over the riffles. It's not going to be able to get around that stuff. So the only way to do that is to naturally thin it down. But that was a nice little garnet, but just a rock. Again, this is so hard to show, but this is a back pan and tap. Basically, you're just letting the water flush up there. Gold usually likes to bounce. And then we're thinning that out. So that's from that next classification of rocks. I'm just going to put this in the sniffer bottle right now, guys. Nice flakes of gold there. Try to take that down one more layer. Make sure we didn't miss anything. As you guys can tell, there's a lot of black sand in this already. This is just that last classification, excuse me, of rocks. And so, you know, to have that much black sand in it, we're not even down into that concentrates. And, you know, that's basically, you can pull back that 2 tablespoons right there of black sand just out of the rocks. And so I imagine there's going to be some decent black sands in the bottom when we get to here. Alright, so I am going to pause that, clean out these containers, get rid of this rock overburden, and then we'll start in with the bazooka concentrator. See you when we come back. Alright, I just realized we only did the 3 classifications of rocks. This is one more yet. So we'll do that. And then I actually might pan out that one last size of rocks as well, and then do the bazooka concentrator for the fines, and then the miller table to clear that off yet. So just because or maybe I'll do the other little cleanup on the miller table, the next size rocks, and then we'll use the concentrator for the fines, and then the miller table for that too, so that you can see everything from start to finish. Again, I'm just gonna take that stuff down. I go get that other green pan again. I do think it's easier to pan rocks without the dirt around them, without the stuff to let it grab, than it is mixed in with the black sands and everything. That's one of the reasons I classify. The second one is when you're panning, it's just the larger pieces are interfering with the idea of dropping those heavier objects down to the ground, or down to the bottom of the pan. And then making room on the top as they're stratifying for those larger objects. If you have a larger object in it that's twice the size of what you're doing, what you're panning down that level, it can easily push that item right down one of those vents, right on its way out of the back of your pan. I set this all up to do the bazooka next and then realized I hadn't panned this out, so sorry guys, I just wanted to come back to this and do this quick on tape. Again, we haven't talked about styles for a while. There's that fanning motion that a lot of people like to do too, the side to side where you're just brushing that top layer off. I like kind of the waterflower motion to let that wave bring those heavies right forward, or those lights right forward and out of the pan. So you can do either one, whatever you're comfortable with. And then the other side of it too is you should be letting the water support the pan for the most part. You shouldn't be doing a whole lot of lifting of the pan. The buoyancy on the plastic should really be doing that as well. And that's kind of the angles and things that you'll work around. Guys, I don't really get down into the science of things with you. I'm not that science guy. All I can tell you is, and I think most people would tell you too, you're gonna figure out a way. You know, with practice, you're gonna find something that's comfortable for you. You know, listen to the pointers. You're not trying to shake the pan. You're not trying to force the material out. You're not trying to bounce the pan, because that would encourage the material to bounce up those steps. But after you've been panning and repanning for a while, you're gonna know whether you're catching stuff or not. So. Again, I get a lot slower when I start to get into this stuff, because that's potentially where the gold's at. We'll get it out of that black sand. Another nice row of decent sized flakes here. Again, I'll separate this stuff out later, guys. I'll show you that, how I'm separating from the black sands with what's in there so far. Get that in the bottle. Again, clear out a little bit more. Make sure there's no gold that we missed in there. Nope, nothing. And then, like I said, we'll do this last section too of rock, and so then that will leave, or no, we'll do that on the military. Well, let's just pan it quick. We're already into a video. Let's pan it down, and then that last classification we'll do in both the concentrator and the miller table. When I start getting into these sizes, this is where I definitely like to tap a little bit more, make sure that gold's dropping down, that you're stratifying and getting all that material saturated all the way through. You know, prior to that, tapping, like I said, can never be a bad thing, but I usually use it a little bit more once you start getting into those coarser materials, the sands, and because that's really where you're going to find a lot of fine specks of gold that are going to be heavier than the material around them, but the size of it's going to be so similar that it'll take a little bit to see. Couple little specks there, those three. We're just going to keep going with this. Thank you guys for all the growth. We've been doing videos now for a little bit over a month, and got me plenty of subscribers and friends. You've been sharing and commenting, and I appreciate it. Like I said, that's really what we're going for here, guys, is an open community where we have an open forum and we can discuss people's products. I'll apologize from time to time if I argue with a seller that disagrees with me or not, but I won't have people attack my family or act like a 3-year-old. So unfortunately, there is one seller in particular, and I won't name him by names because I figure I'm a better man than that. But you guys have seen his review, and you've probably seen that he disagrees with me, and was very upset. He reported me to eBay. He didn't like get caught with his pants down and offering a crappy product, and so that's all I'll say is you know who he is, and especially if you're watching the reviews, you're probably naming him right now. I would absolutely not buy from them ever, and I did say so in my review, and he didn't like it. So he's actually, I'm a personal member of another site to do with the gold prospectors area and arena of the industry, and his friend has even been kind of tagging and harassing my videos there as well, because his friend's so upset that he got a bad review. And so definitely obvious why the two of them are friends as well. They're two peas in a pod. If I didn't know any better, I'd say they're the same person, but I saw both of them in a video that one of them did, so. The second part of this, I'm going to use a bazooka concentrator to do my fines, to get all the lights out of the way so we get it down to just heavies. And that is from the same eBay seller that brought us that water table that I use. He either goes under eBay seller USA _ prospector or Rhino Mining _ mining. Will over there was generous enough to send it along with the purchase that I had to see what I thought of it. So you guys are going to see it reviewed for the first time tonight. I did use it with just a couple scoops of something before, just to make sure it worked and that I had it set up and everything sealed right. So that's what we'll bring on next. You'll kind of see a whole different review. I will talk more about the product there, guys. So I know that these are attached, that it is have to do with the PayDirt from Gold Getter. But once we get into that and using that, it will be a lot more about the review on the bazooka concentrator and what I think of that. So. Maybe we should talk about too a little bit of the size of pans. This is obviously a 10-inch pan, Garrett pan with the deep grooves. This has flares on it. This is a 14-inch. Excuse me. The pan underneath it is a 14-inch as well with flares. I like this pan the best, the blue one. When I'm panning and using it, you'll see it's the most beat up, but it doesn't film very well. The blue covers up the specks of gold pretty bad, so. If you get a little too much like that, just lift your pan up a little higher and pull that material down and bring it back down and get a little bit more of it. You know, don't keep doing the pace that you're doing. You don't want to be losing gold. And again, that's one of the things that I like about this channel that's in this pan, is that you don't really lose a lot of that. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I need to get some more jet dry in here, because the surface tension is starting to grab even those nice flakes of gold. So. Okay, so that's what's in the final classifications of the small rock and dirt. And then, like I said, we'll get, maybe I'll just do that right now quick. I'll dump it all out, show you what's in the dish that we have and where we're at before we get into those fines. Again, go through. Make sure you're not missing anything. You don't go through all the work of getting it down to this level or out of the ground to lose it in your pan. You know, that's the other thing too. There's a lot of these independent guys on eBay. You know, what they're upset about is that we're buying it for entertainment. I would agree. Probably all of us buy it for entertainment because we enjoy the pan. But I think we don't throw the gold away when we're done. You know, we like to keep the gold because it has value. So that's what the return on your investment is about. I don't think I've told any of you ever that you're going to get all your money back from anybody besides maybe Gold Bay. And that's only because of their prices. You know, in 5 months he could change his prices, and you could only be getting a 40% return on your investment. I don't know that right now with what he advertises at and tells you it's a loaded bag. It has a gram in for the $49 with shipping is a fair price. Probably the fairest price you're going to find, or that I found so far. So let me clean out this black sand a little bit. Sorry, I probably had my hand in front of the camera that whole time. So far, and we'll throw those in there too. Love the sound of that nugget. Let me tell you guys, that is a good looking nugget. So that is what we got out of everything so far. And then we have those fines to go through yet too. So that'll be in another video. Alright, so this is a continued review on a PayDirt goldgetters.net, but we're also going to review a new product that I had come in. And that is a bazooka concentrator. As you can see down, this pipe basically has drills through it. It's hooked to a pump. I have a circulating pump here that circulates the water through. And what this is designed to do is to make an easy job out of getting ready your lights. So I am just going to plug this in. We'll start running it. We'll talk about it as we go. Get there fast enough so that you can see that water spraying out. That's what's going to agitate those lights to the top or to the surface for us. And that's what you want, is for it to be running overflowing. And then what you're simply going to do is feed those lights right in. I'm just going to wet those down a little bit just because gold does have a surface tension, obviously. So I'm going to put about 3 cups worth in here. It's about 6 inches tall, 4 inches in circumference. So that's what we'll start with. And I can get a close-up of this on the side. You can see that swirling. That's all that lighter material just getting fanned off and running right over the edges. Maybe I can stir this up a little bit so you can see it. And basically that water is just going to keep agitating through there. I'll let this run for a while until it's not so cloudy, and we'll just let it keep running it down. It's getting rid of, like I said, those lights, so that when we go to pan, we're panning out just the heavy concentrates, or we're running our heavies down our miller tables, those type of things as well. So we'll let this run for a little bit. Great little product though, nice and quiet. Again, you can see those lights just floating right off the edge. This also does work too with a hose, a garden hose you can hook up to it. And I can kind of show you the valve on the back. This is with that pump, like I said, running, recirculating, but you can also hook this right up to a hose. And again, I like to watch the process, so I like to stir it up. You don't have to necessarily do that, but I'm right here, so I like to speed it up. This is really meant to kind of set it and forget it. Very, very quiet. Hard to tell it's running. Again, you want it level so that there's enough water that's scooping out that it can flush that stuff over the top. You can see the stuff getting caught up on the side. I just like to sweep that back around. Again, it's just lighter material. It's not getting over the edge. And with a hose, you can have a little bit more strength in this. I think this is a 220 gallon a minute pump or something. Not a pump that comes with it. This comes on its own, but you can order a company I got a little bit better of a pump from. I just haven't opened actually. It's right next to us here. It's from Harbor Freight. I think I got a 240 gallon, not much bigger, but I think enough that'll make a difference for that miller table. Some people like to shake as well with concentrators because it helps things float a little. there's a number of different modifications I'm sure you could do to this to make it work the way you want it. Again, this is something for that prospector that has a little bit more heavy material to go through. Maybe you're in an area that's really thick in beach sand and black sands. This really is just going to save you the time of having to pan down through so much of that stuff, because when it's all done running, what you're left with in the bottom is just those heavies. And then again, like I said, you run this for a while. I'm not going to run the whole thing out for the video. Again, from USA_prospector or from Rhino Mining, all I do to get my my concentrates now out of the bazooka is I turn it upside down, let it run with that stuff a little. Like I said, I did about a cup. I guess I did a little more than a cup. But that's what's left. And you would run this again for a little bit longer, but you can start to see right here. Again, we're down to a consistency that these blondes are mixed in. This is heavy material here. You know, the lights that it swished away, it got rid of, but this is all black sand down here, and it's all mixed in as a part of that. So real simple to use, concentrates things down. I'm going to get back into my review, but enjoy USA_prospector or Rhino Mining on eBay. Nice little machine, inexpensive, good way to save yourself a little time. Alright everyone, so now we're going to use the miller table. Get that set up a little bit, and I'll do some scoops off of it to show you what I do with my fines. And you're just letting basically a sheet of water run over that. Once it's got everything washed away, I can get a better angle on this. You can see right there, right here are little specks of gold. So all I do in that case is take your little brush and bring them over to this area of concentration, and then we suck them up there. Just realized too, what I will do is I'll dump this sniffer bottle out of the gold you already saw, so we can see exactly what came out of these fines. And then you simply take your sniffer bottle and go uphill right into that. And again, with what's left behind, usually I just bring it up to an area, concentrate it, was in that scoop. I like to paint uphill, just because hopefully you're keeping the gold uphill. And really what you're doing this for is that microscopic small gold. We found the bigger gold that we're going to find in this material already. This is for the fine stuff that sometimes either floats out of your pan or you can't get separated from the black sand. You're letting nature and water take its course. And take that lighter stuff down and let the gold stick right at the surface. So rather than show you 40 minutes of me running through this, I just wanted to give you a good idea
of how it worked. I'll process the rest of it this way, and then give you a total here at the end for what showed up. Alright, so that right there is what we got out of the fines. Not a whole lot of stuff. We're going to put those in. With everything else, show you the total, and then I'll get it weighed up and dried for you. So that's there. Sorry, I got a couple little pieces of gravel and stuff mixed in with this, but for the most part it's pretty well cleaned out. So I have that dime around. There it is. To give you an idea, that dime is all the fines, and then that is the chunky nuggets. All in all, doesn't look too bad. So I will get this dried right now and weighed and come back with a final review for you. Roll that. All right, so there it is. I love that nugget. That nugget was right there, was 0.7 grams on its own. It's just a little round ball. And then there were a couple other chunky nuggets in there. It was a total of 1.7 grams. So $73 or so, give or take a few, in gold. And so return on investment this time, right around 65–70%, much better than the last time. And good or bad, to be quite honest, just because of that nugget right there alone. I'm more than happy with the bag for that. You know, 0.7 grams, that's a nice chunk of gold right there on its own. So again, total 1.7 grams, gold getters. Great customer service, fast shipping. They have a good reputation in the industry. I don't remember what I scored them on the last bag, but on this one I would score them at least an 8 out of 10, maybe even a 9 out of 10, just because, how I said, their customer service, they stand behind things. They were a great company to work with. So goldgetters.net. All right, up this week we'll have a couple reviews from another few eBay sellers, an Amazon seller, and then I'm also going to just kind of pause this video and do, or excuse me, not pause the video, but add in with that gold that we just cleaned out into the turbo pan just on its own, so we can watch kind of the swirling motion of the turbo pan with gold in it without any debris over it, so you can kind of see the concept and the theory behind it. So I'm going to get that out and get a little video on that just so we can see what that looks like.